Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Can't
Who would have
this.
thought we would be here
Can't
2.5
drew it
hours
up.
ago, 3 hours ago?
I didn't even think
it.
I was going to be here. I wasn't going to do this show. Then I wanted to do it because I was so mad. And
Right.
Then,
You screwed. You played yourself, bro.
I played myself.
And then he threw the script out. What he's gonna
I was like, the people need me on a night like this, right?
In the second quarter, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do the Celtics show tonight.
I'm doing it.
32-point comeback. There you go.
Wow.
How could you not? So, we'll wait for people to kind of fill in here. I know it's
they're going
NFL.
nuts. Everyone's talking to their friends. This is one of those nights. Friday night. You watch
This-
this? You just
Night.
This is a where were you when sort of game,
Exactly.
like, did you tune it out? Did you go back to watch? I think, this was something, huh?
The classic.
Yeah,
Listen, when Tatum goes into the Hall of Fame someday and they're putting together like his amazingly awesome games, this is going to go down as one of them. To lead your team from down 32 points.
Yep.
I mean, this is one of the all-time, not just one of the all-time great Tatum games. This is one of the all-time great Celtics wins. No question about it.
And that's the thing is where you're stuck in your own head here with what the Celtics team is. And like what was, and I don't care who you are, us, people who are less critical, the entire world, this was a F this effing team game. I've had it. We almost, honestly, I feel we should do 2 shows tonight, right? We should do the first half show and spend the whole second half in an apology cam frame, apologizing to ourselves for saying or thinking what we were thinking about the first half, for our thoughts, for our
texts,
impure thoughts, our angry texts. They
were based on facts. They were based on the facts that this team for the first half absolutely sucked ass. They were horrible.
Which is always the case. But what Sherrod just said is exactly right. Because we're so up in our own mind about this team and how frustrating they've been, you have to take a step back and appreciate that as what he said is exactly right. This will go down in history as a game where Jayson Tatum scored 60 points and the Celtics overcame a 32-point. These are historic things that happened tonight. And you've got to appreciate that because that's what this is about. This was unbelievable.
I'm glad you put it that way, John, because 10, 20, 15 years from now, or whatever the case may be, I want everyone to remember how we didn't really enjoy this all that much because of what happened before.
Yeah.
Because of what we had to endure.
We only got to enjoy 1 quarter in an overtime.
For what is it, 62 games, the 62 games that we had to endure before this happened, we'll have to relay that information before we to tell the person that we're talking to why we didn't completely enjoy this, but we obviously started to enjoy it in that fourth quarter, man. Jayson Tatum, that superstar stuff right there. I mean, that's incredible. I've never seen a member of the Celtics score 60. So this is definitely a historic night for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the couple of the boomers in this room can tell us all about that Bird game, but I'll say this about the Tatum performance.
Sherrod's in Detroit. Well, no, Sherrod, where did you grow up?
But don't just
I grew up in Syracuse.
Yeah.
He was watching.
Yeah, but I mean, you Celtics fan or not, I mean, you know all about Larry Bird. I don't care. But the thing about Tatum tonight, he was literally the only guy scoring for them up until the final minute of the first quarter.
Yeah, so 44 seconds left in the first quarter was the first time someone not named Jayson Tatum got a bucket.
It was unbelievable. I mean, and that was.
How does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, that was it was the laughing stock. The Celtics were about to be the laughing stock for the league the way it was going. It's unbelievable how it turned around. But Tatum, credit to him, he put the team on his back from start to finish tonight when literally nobody else could hit a damn shot. He was the only guy saying, "Nope, I'm not falling into this trap tonight. Like I'm gonna bring it. You guys better snap out of it because I'm not going down like this tonight." So.
I'm thinking it's not enough, though. Like, this is the damn San Antonio Spurs, and this is the best I've seen them in quite some time. I mean, I'm thinking, like, these guys got bodies out there. Like, Tatum can't take all this.
Oh, I thought they were going to lose for sure, but at least he was going to, do his, he wasn't going to be.
With that being said, I was going to, segue into Aaron Nesmith, man. That's a hell of a performance. Listen, he did it one night, 2 nights in a row for Aaron Nesmith standards under this pressure on that stage, Friday night, comeback game. He bummed the layup down the stretch, didn't let it affect his mental state. And when he made the defensive stop, realized it was a dead ball, knew the Celtics had the ball again, and let out that scream and that flex, I felt every bit of that. I felt the criticism that we've been giving into him, me included. I felt, I mean, granted, it's still a small sample size, but for him to have the mental capacity, the mental strength to stick through this, because the Celtics needed him. Brad Stevens needed him. There's no other options for that spot, for that position. And he stuck with it. So I got to give props to him. But
No question.
Jayson Tatum, man, it's a historic night. But again, he couldn't have done it alone, though. He couldn't have done it alone.
I want to give Josue, I'm with you, buddy. I want to give Nesmith all the props in the world, because in addition to and Sherrod and I talked about this off cam, before we came on, we all talked about it at the end of last game. Would Brad go back to it? And he did. And it was a big deal. And it's a major Jimmy.
He's got to get some snacks.
It's a major 1A subplot to not just this game, but the end of the season. If Nesmith is something nobody expected him to be, but we still got to stick with Tatum for a little bit longer here, because again, don't want to shortchange it. Don't want to shortchange it.
I mean, he's not Jaylen
Brown. It wasn't
no.
just the scoring. This wasn't one of those games where Tatum's just unconscious and he shot. Getting 60 when you shoot, like when you're going like make 11 out of 14 threes, it's a shorter path there. He didn't do that. These were man buckets, okay? Yes, Jimmy, I see you waving. I'm bringing you in. We lost you for a minute. Are you good?
Yo, Jimmy, he always sees
that. Over here.
Jimmy.
I used to do that. I realized.
Pick me.
He could see me.
Yeah. Josue was like,
no, because that time I was like,
I know it was my fault
for a long time, because
my bad. I didn't mean to cut into your Tatum talk, John.
No,
he thinks it's a technical issue. I was like, he's not going to go back to me now.
He earned every friggin' bit of those. But anyway, go ahead.
You know what he did that was really low key important that won't show up in the stat sheet? He did not bitch and moan when he didn't get calls every time. Yeah. He did a little bit of that, but not nearly as much as he usually does. And there were a couple times where it was obvious he got hosed. That like the and one at the very end, but they said it wasn't an and one. They said he got fouled. He should have been an and one. He was clearly in continuation mode. The one that would have
was crazy. Yeah,
that is crazy because that was 61.
He should have just went right up with it. He went down, and maybe
you know why though?
But all of it, those 15 of 17 free throws. I mean, he went to the basket. He got to the line when nobody would do anything that they were supposed to do. It was so weird, because that's another thing I want to talk about. We give Tatum crap for sometimes settling for the easy shot, setting the tone by doing his own thing. Not tonight. He was like, none of you are doing anything you're supposed to do, so I'm going to literally do all of it. And it wasn't just scoring. It was how he scored. It was, I'm going to the basket. I'm going to make these guys, I'm going to get it into the paint. I'm going to get to the free throw line. And that's what he did. 50, look at the line is unreal. 15 to 17 free throws. Again, 5 threes is great, but our 60-point night, 5 threes is not a ton. I mean, he worked for it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at guys who normally score like 50, 60 points. They're usually double-digit three-pointers made.
Right.
And Tatum, it wasn't like he was – and the thing about Tatum, most of the shots looked so damn easy. And he makes a lot of nights – but it felt as if he could have scored another 15, 20 points without cracking a sweat.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Very crafty of him.
They were pretty.
Very crafty of him to miss the buzzer beater at the end of regulation so he could
get him some extra point.
Yeah. Because he was only at 50 there.
Yeah.
I told you, Charlie. Now he has to get 60. He's going to do it because who else is going to score on that team? I was saying. But
Jimmy, go ahead, Josue. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, Josue, go ahead. It's my fault.
Oh, I thought you said Jimmy. Okay. No, I was just gonna say it seemed like, again, to Sherrod's point, right? It was like he wasn't complaining about calls. He wasn't even making that face he makes, which is obviously something we talked about here before, right? He makes those faces when someone else makes a turnover or someone else makes a bad pass. That's the kind of attitude that reflects the sort of leadership that Jimmy hates, right? The quote that Jimmy always likes to use. And I just think that a lot of that was because he was in that zone where he couldn't even hear anybody else. He was just so focused and dialed in, knew where he wanted to go. He was doing combos in the paint. He was determined to either get the layup or get to the free throw line. And that's a Jayson Tatum that we should see more often, more on the reg, like that, the spin move, the up fakes, I'm going to go in and keep going in. And if you don't give me the call, I'm going to keep trying it again, because you know what? No one on this team can really stop me on one-on-one. So especially in transition, he wasn't even thinking twice. Those 3-pointers, they were either wide open or the shot clock was was running down, or it was something that he had meticulous, in his mind. Like, he was 2 steps ahead of what he was doing. And I think that's the kind of Tatum where you're like, okay, look out. He's going to take over. That's exactly what he did.
And he took the mismatches when they came his way, and he didn't waste them. When he saw Pirtle drool, immediately start coming down the chin because I'm about to get a bucket. And Jaylen was the same way, late in the game. I mean, it was funny. Jaylen shot like crap, but you kind of felt that if he got an opportunity to deliver a late game dagger in overtime, he'd come through. But Tatum but Tatum was just so damn consistently elite. And you're not going to get 60 points from him every night. We know that. But the way that he was attacking, hell no, Jimmy, that's not happening. Stop. Don't even do it.
He's on fire right now. Don't forget
he's not 60 points a night on fire, Jimmy. This was a great game. Don't forget what
he was playing like before the bubble, though. That's what he looked like before the bubble, this game tonight. Remember that? That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. That was a long ass time ago. A lot of games have passed since then.
And you know what? It's been a roller coaster. But maybe that's how long it's taken him to, get back into that zone that he was finding himself in right before everything kind of went haywire, And I feel like we're seeing it again. And you guys talked about it. The way
it's 2.0 now.
Jimmy, the way he scored tonight.
Jimmy, don't do it though. Don't go down this road. And then the minute he has a bad game, you're like, I told you he wasn't back. Don't do it, Jimmy.
The minute he drops 20, right.
Exactly.
He's been playing better.
Tatum had a great night, and I think to your point, I think he is becoming a little bit closer to the guy that we saw when he was at his absolute pinnacle as a player. But I'm not ready to go there yet because for me, and I think for most people, get it done in the playoffs. Do the damn thing in the postseason. I like the way he's trending now, but I need you to keep elevating your play when you get to the postseason because that's where it counts.
Don't have those settle games where you're just like, today I'm just going to kind of fire it from deep and just see what falls. Like, this is again when he wants it, I feel like he can get it. I feel like he can get into the paint using his length, using those little post-up moves, creating those situations where he's just shooting from, even if he's shooting those fadeaways from closer over the top of people, that stuff is unstoppable. And when people know that you've got them there on a string, whatever you want to do with them, it's easier for him to do his little up and unders and his scoops and to get closer or to get to the line because he's so long. Once he just lunges towards the basket, once he's in there, it's really hard. It's really just hard to defend it. So you're right. A lot of it felt easy. A lot of it is like, wow, this seems like something you could do a lot. San Antonio didn't do a good job adjusting there. They definitely blitzed him a lot less than other teams do. He didn't see a lot of doubles top of the key like he normally would. So once he was able to turn the corner and get into the paint, lights out, game over. He did it all game long.
That's surprising considering he was literally the only guy that was getting
only one. I was very surprised that
somebody should check on Pop after the game. Pop might have a record quick post game. I mean, Sherrod, we've all been in those Popovich and
Pop might just go straight to the plane. Pop might just go straight to the plane. He may have left the court going straight to the plane, not even talking to his players.
I love interviewing Pop because I love looking at the fear in all the reporters' eyes because I'm not there. I'm not going to ask him. I have asked him a question, but usually I'm just there to like hang out, see what he says.
Yeah.
And just looking around, everyone's like, and they're like, oh my God, is he going to light me up in front of everybody right now?
I was just going to say, I can't imagine asking him a question tonight. If you're traveling Spurs reporter tonight, man, you really gotta think about how you're gonna word your question.
It's worse in person for sure. I bet it's not great on Zoom. Let's bring in our man. Let's bring in Bobby here real quick.
He makes a little joke, and everyone's like, "Wait,
did I just? Is I only heard half that John comment, but did you just say Tatum could do this all the time? Are you serious?
No, I feel like he could get easier baskets more of the time.
Okay.
Bobby coming in hot. Bob coming in real hot here.
Well, I don't know. What we're saying is,
what a John comment.
a 17 free throw game, it's just it feels like a lot of times it's by choice how he goes about getting his baskets or getting his shots, whether he wants to just kind of, shoot the step back all day or whether he wants to work for it. We were talking about how he wasn't getting doubled as much as you would have thought, considering he was the only offensive option there. So he was able to turn the corner, get into the paint, and then it just looked easy for him. He was just able to create and get whatever shot he wanted. But Bobby, you're there. Describe first half, second. The vibe was pretty interesting.
Yeah, give me those boo birds.
You posted something on Celtics CLNS.
You could hear that really
heavy
clearly.
Boos for
thunderous
12%.
boos.
And then
oh my lord!
Total
And when you
shift.
consider it's 2,000 people too, this place was shaking with boos. Nesmith was throwing a towel on the ground. They were going in there with their heads hung low, and with about like a minute left in the halftime, I only saw Tremont Waters, Jaylen Brown, Grant Williams, and Luke Cornett out there. There were only 4 Celtics on the court with like seconds until the second half, and so you thought they were dead. You thought this was just going to be another one of those shameful losses of the last 2 weeks where they just disappear and get blown out by a middling team here in the San Antonio Spurs. I had the sense, and I did text you guys at halftime and said this is probably going to turn back around in some way. I didn't think it was going to be that dramatic, but the Spurs were shooting like 80% from mid-range.
You said
in that
win.
First half. It was goofy.
Bobby, I'm giving you credit there.
Bobby,
you said win.
I did say win, but I didn't truly believe it.
No.
I just knew it was going to get very close because,
Sure.
I mean, come on. The Spurs went the halftime shooting 72%. That was just goofy.
Wait, so
Bobby, and you know
sometimes...
what?
Sorry, go ahead.
And I'm sure Brad said that too in the half. Like, that sucked, but look at what the Spurs did too. He does that all the time. Like, come on, give the Spurs some credit for what they were doing out there. DeJounte Murray in that first half, Jakob Poeltl banging them inside. They were just getting incredible shots. I didn't love the way the Celtics were playing defense. They weren't getting into those shooters. But finally, you know what it is? That second half? What am I going to say, guys? Running. Just run up the floor. Sprint a little bit. Play a little more aggressive on defense. That's all it came down to again. It spurred open threes in transition. It got them in the basket time and time again, and they left like 4 to 5 layups on the table. So, like, all this took was just that little burst of effort. And what have we been saying for weeks now? The difference between this team losing by 30 to the Spurs and going on an 80 to 55 run or whatever it was in that second half is just a little bit of effort. Run. Play some hard defense. Get on the boards. It's that simple.
Effort. I mean, and that's why a guy like Nesmith, we're kind of scratching our heads as to why it took this long to get him out there, because that's literally the only thing that you can count on he's going to give you every time he plays. He's going to give great effort. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to be out of position sometimes. He's going to do things that are going to make you just want to kind of scratch your eyeballs out, but the effort is going to be great. And what we're seeing now is the more he plays, the more refined a lot of those mistakes are becoming to where they're not happening as frequently as they were before. He did so, and you know what? The thing, and this was something I can't remember whether it was Doc or Tommy used to tell me this, but when you work hard, the basketball guys will reward you. And how many times did we see Nesmith just literally the ball landing in his hands? Yeah. Just because he's just making great effort.
I thought the play of the game. Yeah. I thought the play of the game was when he won that jump ball on the far end on defense, sprinted down the floor and got to the other basket. I think Brown threw Tatum that long outlet pass. It fell out of Tatum's hand and right into Nesmith for the finish. I think that tied the game before Tatum ended up tying it again. He was just everywhere in this game. Incredible closing effort, all over the boards again. Big threes in the second half, another big shot in overtime, big mid-range shot. Yeah. He's just arrived. It's incredible.
The expression you're looking for, Sherrod, ball finds energy, and I think that's what he's one of those guys, right? Where that's the only thing he had going for him in the early going. Now he's got that plus a little bit of know-how and a little bit of wherewithal where he's, in the right place at the right time. His overall spacing is better. He's not like standing right next to a guy, with the ball and like, dude, like I said, it's like watching watching my daughter's soccer team play, and they're like pass, and I'm like, you're 1 foot away from me. That
was the play of the night. It was probably like the 35th best play of the night. But I love when he put DeRozan on the ground with that hard foul early. Like, that was using it. He had 5 fouls in this one, and they were all really good fouls, physical, strong, preventing guys from getting baskets. Now, DeRozan was a problem until the final minutes in this one, getting to the line like 18 times. But
that's his game, though.
Yeah, I thought the Celtics just imposed a good physical will in that second half. I mean, the Spurs shot like 12 of 26 in that second half. They were just completely shut down aside from some of the fouls.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you guys, the thing about Nesmith is The only thing we heard of, because let's be honest, nobody watched Aaron Nesmith in college at Vanderbilt. Like, we can all just say that. I mean, you can turn on a YouTube clip or whatever. You're not getting these types of hustle plays primarily.
Jimmy's all about the YouTube clips.
The one thing, well, that's how I scout my players. So YouTube highlight reels. The one thing we can say about Nesmith now is that he's not just a shooter, right? I mean, if anything, that's the one thing that hasn't really stood out from about his game. I mean, yeah, he's hit a few shots lately, but it's the hustle plays. It's like just the doing whatever it takes to stay on the court. Sometimes for better or for worse with the hustle plays. Sometimes he is kind of running around like a chicken with his head cut off. But more so lately, he's doing it with a purpose. He seems to be more in the right place, like you guys talked about, not just on offense but on defense too. And he's there like at the rim, like putting baskets back up after misses or loose balls, or he just happens to be in the right place in the right time. So there's definitely a value to having that on the team, and I think he is providing a lot of energy, and I think he was a big reason for that second half comeback. Obviously, I mean, clearly Tatum was the guy, but like Bobby said, you need that supporting cast in there. And I thought with Jaylen Brown kind of cold tonight, even though he hit that monster three-pointer in the corner, it was good to have a guy like Nesmith sort of step up, and we've been looking for it all year. Players from the second unit not stepping up and not they're just completely invisible from, it doesn't matter what part of the game, doesn't matter what their role is on any given night. Brad's consistently, rotating bench guys in and out depending on the game because he has never had a consistent player to step up. It feels like Nesmith, I don't want to like exaggerate, but it just feels like Nesmith's sort of rising to the top of that bench crew there.
Yeah, energy with impact. I mean, that's the one thing that he delivered. I think other guys, they try to play hard, but they don't make an impact when they're out there with that second unit. Nesmith has found he's found, the secret sauce to playing hard and making an impact. And that is you do it every damn second that you're on the floor. You don't just do it when you're on offense and the ball may wind up in your hands. You don't do it just on defense, assuming that when you get on offense, they're not going to look for you at all. You do it every second that you're out there on the floor. And he is starting to not only, I think, figure that out more consistently, but he's getting the opportunities. Because my fear going into this game was that Brad would overthink the process and think I got great play out of Nesmith, and maybe I need to go in a different direction and come back to him later.
Let's try out Grant again,
Let's go back to
that's what history tells us, right?
That's what we talked about at the end of last game. We were all afraid of it. Yeah,
I mean,
Brad kept it simple, went with the guy who last we checked was your best energy off the bench. Give him another shot, see what he can do, and he came through.
Yeah, for me, it was everything you just said about Nesmith's game, of him giving it 100% every single possession, every single play, whether it was on defense or offense. But also, he was locked in. You could see it. We made jokes before about it seemed like he was a little lost on offense sometimes. Not quite sure where he needed to be. And this time it was different. It was like he was locked in because, again, he got the reps that he needed. Not just one game, but the games before that, the ones that led to this opportunity. Zanis and I were like just going crazy. Zanis more than me a few months ago saying, just play him. Let's just see what happens, But I think for the most part, what you meant by that, John, was get his reps in. Like, what's the
let him work out that stuff early.
Like, whose growth are you stunting by not doing this? What's the alternative?
And that's where the argument was, not to relitigate the whole thing, but, when we were going back and forth with Bobby on this was, the other guys are playing better, or they're more reliable. And there was no arguing that. You knew that then. What you're getting out of Semi. Reasonable defense.
He was really bad early. It was borderline unplayable.
But he was, but we knew that we were conceding that he was borderline unplayable, but there's no way you're going to. You wanted to recognize or actualize, whatever ceiling was there. But it is interesting not only that it's working now, and it's a really cool development because it may really have implications leading into the stretch run in the playoffs here. But other thing is, we talked about Brad making choices and trying to stick with them. The last two games, he's made choices, and those choices don't involve Semi Ojeleye. They don't involve Romeo Langford. They don't involve
get rid of them all.
They don't involve Jabari Parker. They do not involve
Grant Williams.
No offense, Bobby. Cornette, when you have the two healthy centers, is the odd man out, though I actually do agree with you. You could find minutes for him here and there. What I'm saying is, I don't think he's in the doghouse. I just think he's the odd man out. I think the others
Where
are.
was that a couple weeks ago? I needed you.
I think the others are more of we're done with you guys right now. And then Grant got 9 minutes after 1 minute the other day, so he's kind of fighting for stuff there too. I think what you're seeing here might be what you're seeing for the rest of the way. And Nesmith now,
well, it better be.
Nesmith Nesmith in almost no time shot into that little circle of trust now. I mean, he's out. He got more minutes than Pritchard on a night that Kemba was out. You know, that's a big deal. Like now you're looking at
he closed the game.
He played the whole fourth and overtime pretty much. I mean, he's
Brad was just finally Brad was like, you know what? I'm sticking with the guys that are winning us this game or bringing us back in this game. We didn't get the token, substitution where it's like get Jaylen Brown or get Tatum back in the game. Like, what is this lineup right now? Nobody was like, what is this lineup right now? Everyone was exactly that. These are the players that we want to see out there. And Brad stuck with it. He didn't overthink it. He's like, you know what? We're either going to win or lose with these guys because they're the 5 guys that brought us all the way back into this game. We're just going to stick it out as long as we can. He made a couple substitutions like Fournier, Rob, and those things. But generally speaking, it was the same core.
And just completely random, but still worth noting because we absolutely rip him a new one every game. Grant Williams played less than 10 minutes and was extremely effective playing less than 10 minutes. I thought his minutes were absolutely right? Perfect. This was the perfect Grant Williams
Come on,
game.
guys. Come on. Let's just say it, guys. I think more than a couple of players, they watched the show, right? They watched the show. That's what it is.
Draymond Water's helping a little bit too.
What did we say about Grant? The problem with
he plays too much.
Is too much.
You said 10 to 12. I think your ceiling was 12 minutes. That's it.
He played 9. He played 9.
That's fine. Boom. But when you're counting on it on those games where he plays 23 minutes, I think that's what drives the viewers crazy. They're like, too much Grant, man. I can't see him. It really is the amount. It's not his existence. Of course, you can have every team has guys that come in and play 6, 8, 9, 10 minutes.
Again, if I asked you guys a week and a day ago, Thursday, the day they were practicing before that Nets game where he went out and grabbed 8 rebounds, and I said, you think Nesmith could emerge here? I don't think any of us would have said, yeah. There were no signs whatsoever before that Friday game against the Nets where he came in and grabbed all those boards that he was going to turn it around here. I think we all just kind of assumed this was going to be a lost season for him. So you're just looking at all those different guys, and I guess you could say you were always going to rotate back to Nesmith because Grant wasn't getting it done. Romeo, certainly. That weekend of them starting was just a disaster. But there were this wasn't gradual progress. Like, we saw the hustle plays, but we said it's hustle going to nowhere. He was just kind of out of control. Somehow, some way, this last week and a half, he put it together.
Brad wanted something different because you saw how quickly he gave Romeo a crack, coming right off of the COVID situation, it was obvious Brad was looking for something else, and he was desperate to try to give it to someone. He tried to hand that opportunity to Romeo. You got some stuff out of it, and then it went south. Focus, effort, not aggressive enough, and he turned back to Nesmith. I kind of joked about it, that Nesmith just buried Romeo on his way to, and it's kind of what happened. But I think it speaks to Brad's mentality of I want to see one of these guys step up and take it. This stuff we were saying all year. Their ceiling is higher. You can get to a better place if you're able to get something from these guys who have just more talent than the other players who had been playing, who are really just warm bodies at this point. Too many of those guys. Huge imbalance between 2 friggin' top 20 superstars out there with guys who are barely clinging to an NBA roster.
You done with Romeo?
No, but Romeo right now, it's the same thing that Nesmith. He got his shot. He didn't make the most of it. Nesmith, as you said, was energy but no production. Romeo's just kind of in and out. I'm not done. I still think there's
right. That doesn't mean he's toast for the rest of the way. He'll find a way to get.
He's gonna have to do it the same way that Nesmith has done, and that is you take whatever minutes you get, you play your ass off, you force the coach to keep you out there. Yeah, it's that simple. I mean, that'll do it.
Yeah,
that's how it works. Yeah.
Real quick, we'll keep going on this stuff. I just want to let people know, of course, we're going to do the locker room thing. This is a great night for everybody. It's Friday night. Great vibes tonight. 60 piece from Tatum. Aaron Nesmith. We might get a cornet to jump in the room. We don't know. It's possible.
Who knows, right?
Who knows?
We know we have a cornet connect.
Yeah.
Yo, Bobby just
Fournette
checked his
connect.
phone. Okay, Bobby, I see you. I see you, Bobby. He said, "Who knows?"
Yeah, Bobby, we see you.
I was
Gerard was
slide.
watching live.
Slide.
So download it. I don't know what's going on with the Android situation, but give it a shot. We know you can get it on the iOS store.
Android's up. It's up. It's just
What if we find out Luke
hit or
Fournette
miss?
delivers
No, it's just the
halftime
iPhoners are
speech?
just teasing them. That's what it is.
Yeah. But come on in. We had a lot of people in there last time. This is one of those games where I feel like there's a lot to say. So we want to hear from you. Later on we're gonna take a walk over there and
I'm just in awe of what I watch. I mean, like you could feel the 60. Like you could feel the significance of that, and he should have had 61. That call was so bogus on the foul. The continuation. Yeah. I mean, come on. What are we doing? This is the NBA where you can continue from a touch foul at the 3-point line, do 3 steps and get into the lane and finish and have free throw and one. That was pure. That would have been continuation in college. I cannot believe the referees got in the way of history.
That was a bad one.
One of the worst calls in history.
When Bobby tells his kid about this game, he's gonna say, "I predicted this in the second quarter, though."
You know what?
They had a few bad calls. The offensive foul on Tristan.
Bobby, I didn't know you say these takes just to get us riled up. You didn't believe that? I didn't know you were just saying that just to say it.
Dude, I bet you everybody.
I just felt it was going to be really close. Like I felt they were going to get all the way back. I didn't know if they could get over the line. I guess I said they're going to win, so I'll take it. But I mean, I just felt that the Spurs were just hitting the craziest shots.
In other words, that was like a Hail Mary shot that you took there, just went in.
No,
yeah.
I mean, honestly,
meanwhile,
that's the
perfect. Do a real text
recap
here.
sure.
Like game 5 of the East Finals.
That's the perfect game to live bet. If you were paying attention to this game, you said, "Listen, there's no way the Spurs are going to continue shooting at 70+%."
It was plus 1,600 at the peak.
Well, I wouldn't take the money line, but I would have certainly taken the Celtics with the points at that time, because just based on exactly what you said, like there's no way that the Spurs are going to keep this up. The Celtics should be able to climb back, and based on the way they've played this season, they always climb back into the game and make it at least close enough to fool everybody into thinking they're going to win. This time, Tatum just went into absolute, superstar beast mode, and that really was the difference in them winning or losing this game.
The way
everybody watching, I guarantee you, everybody watching and all of us could go back and look at the text that we were sending our friends or whoever, and it's just night and day, like first quarter to fourth quarter. Like everyone could do it. I mean, I actually have to do a quick apology.
How about the fans here?
Oh, wait, what?
I have to do a mini apology. Somebody called me out on it on Twitter.
Whoa, what we got?
This is the first one in a while.
I tweeted at 8:14 p.m. Send us your off topics for tonight's Celtics post game show, because no way we'll be talking about this game the entire time.
Oh yeah, you did.
Can't and won't do it. And that's my apology, because I was obviously wrong about that, and we are talking about this game the entire time, deservedly so. So, mini apology. That should not count.
Yeah.
That should not count in the record books.
I just wanted to use it. I couldn't even find it anymore.
That was so early in the game. I forgot you sent that out. That's funny.
Dude, it was the end of the first quarter. It was the end of the first quarter.
What did I say though? What did I say? Remember what I said? I go, yo, Grant just hit back-to-back threes.
Yeah, you said it's not over yet. I was like,
Jimmy's also. I'm not watching this. I'm not watching this freaking game.
I'm not watching this.
So Sherrod,
I did, but I didn't want to.
Where's this one rank for you among performances you've seen individually?
Individually, one of the, I would say,
up there with some of Isaiah's
top
that
five,
I've seen.
Easy.
Couple.
Easy. I mean,
in person?
In person, not in person. This is a classic, dude. I mean, to be down 32 points and win, and your best player dropped 60.
This wasn't like. I know they went to overtime too, and I give Nick a lot of credit, Nick Joe. So I was waiting for him to put the asterisk on and say Larry Bird didn't need overtime, but he gave him real credit. This felt like a 60-point game. There was nothing shoddy about it.
Dominant. I mean, Tatum was that good. Dominant.
He did miss the free throw that would have sealed the game in regulation, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but then you can go back and say, well, Nesmith missed the layup and Marcus Smart missed an open shot. I mean, shit.
No, I mean, that's just how he got the record. But, hey, he got the record. He's the reason they won the game. I'm just joking. Like, he totally earned every single point. But
it was going to be tough even out there.
He earned it. There was nothing cheap about it at all.
No, 5 minutes, not overtime.
The Bird stuff, and again, this is hard for someone who grew up when I grew up.
John, break it down for us.
And watching it, the Bird stuff was almost comedy, because again, if those of you old enough or those just who know the history, McHale had gotten 56 9 days earlier. Bird jokes about it. He got it against, I was going to say your Pistons, Sherrod, but I know they're not your Pistons.
Oh, hell no.
I know, but he was lighting up Kent Benson, who I remember fouled out of the game, or I might have gotten thrown out with technicals, and they were begging him to stay on the floor because literally McHale could do whatever he wanted. And then it was just a joke. It was funny. They were so freaking good. And then, Bird makes the joke, he should have gotten 60. I'll get it. He gets it. But you guys have seen the clips of that Hawks game. It was hilarious. They're on the sideline. They're falling over themselves.
They're
Doc is like dapping people up. Doc dapping his teammates.
It's a blowout. Yeah, they're high-fiving. One of my favorite quotes is from Quinn Buckner on the Larry Legend video. He's like, Bird was so good that game. Just the way he says it. Bird was so good that game. He goes, the Hawks were giving themselves high fives, It's so
I've never seen a game like this. I mean, come on.
Can you imagine?
But it's so good. But it was a joke because it was a blowout, and they were feeding Larry late. So he gets his 60 because they're feeding him. Tatum, they needed it. It's a different game, and I'm not saying that holds a special point because it's Larry at the height of his dominance, and it was fun to watch. But
Right.
That was a different game. It was a joke. The whole game was a freaking joke. And in this game, Tatum willed them back to victory with 60 points, and they needed it, and it was high pressure and high intensity. And granted, it went overtime, but as Bobby pointed out, he only played 2 more minutes than Bird did in that game.
Right.
And so
and he did it from start to finish. It wasn't like
the whole
he had,
game.
Yeah, and I mean, when you talk about all-time Celtics performances, I mean, this is right up there, and it makes sense because he now ties the record with points. But that, as far as like dominant performances, I mean, I can think of there's a couple really fun Isaiah Thomas games that we've seen, and I think Pierce definitely. I remember the Pierce LeBron game was one that stands out, but certainly this one's right up there in my lifetime with just a dominant performance. And the crazy thing is we can expect to see so many more of these. I mean, this should be the blueprint for Jayson Tatum. I mean, going to the line,
60.
60.
Get 60.
Just score 60 every time. But the way he did it.
Like
You guys say, he didn't need to shoot 15 threes, right? I mean, he was aggressive. When you put up points like this, oftentimes you have to be going to the line. This is how the Hardens of the world. This is how they average what they average, and how they have these massive games because they drive and they get fouled and they get the calls and they go to the line. That's how Tatum's going to get his respect and get those foul calls because refs are going to just become grown accustomed to calling it if he's working for it and driving and getting that contact at the rim.
He should probably be the East Player of the Month. I don't really know who's in contention with it, but this month, we talked about it through some of his best games here, going to the rim over and over and over again. Take a peek at his shot chart. It's like a flood of circles in that paint area in the restricted zone. He shot about 65% at the rim this month. Getting to the free throw line about 7 times a game. Just using, and we've seen him fill out body-wise. We've seen him add these pounds. We've talked about, should he have gained that weight? He's now using it to his advantage in a brutally efficient way. Still hitting those shots on the perimeter, but just displaying a perfect shot chart for the modern NBA. And, scoring like Zion in that paint. That's legitimately Zion efficiency at the rim. And, not quite the free throw total of a guy like that, but answering the call for how he needed to adjust his play perfectly.
And what's amazing is there's still another level or two, both in terms of how he can finish at or around the rim and how much stronger he can get. He still sometimes relies on little cutesy scoop shots when he gets in close, where he should be powering. And you see more of taking it strong. He should be able to do it more frequently. And as you see his body continue to fill out and he gets more man strong just naturally, he doesn't even have to artificially go. You know what I mean? He's just he's still a kid,
Tonight it was more of with his footwork in the paint, right?
Sliding into places, but
but it was more footwork as opposed to trying to use his pure athleticism the way you say, he always trying to twist and and turn his body and trying to get the contact, where referees, they know that trick already, and I feel like a lot of the times they're like, oh, this guy, he's gonna make that same move and try to get himself to the free throw line, and they don't buy it. But no, this approach was completely different. It was more about footwork. It was the spin move, it was the hesitation. Man, one hesitation move, you think he's going to the middle, he hesitates, he breaks to the right, crossover. It's like what you said earlier, the Spurs, their approach in defending him, he turns the corner and he's gone. It wasn't a more of a group effort in the paint to slow him down, as opposed to other teams that he's seen in the past. And you have to credit Tatum for that too, for reading these defenses the right way.
That first quarter was so important, Josue, and that's when he was going to those paint post moves and pulling out the tricks in his isolation bag, because the Celtics scored 2 points outside of him in that first quarter. It took until 30 seconds left for another Celtic to score. That's how low it was early in this game, and he carried them through. He had 14 in that first frame, kept rolling through halftime to try to keep the score around, that 20 to 28 range, got it to 29 at halftime. So it got out of hand there, but his scoring was what kept them in it. And, we hate when he goes into ISO mode, but when no one's scoring, Brown's shooting the way he is. Smart looked dead tonight. Physically, I'm not going to be surprised if he misses a couple games here. He could barely walk at certain times in this one, but credit to him for gritting it out. But he had no scoring in him tonight. Hit a big 3 late, but this had to be Tatum tonight with no Kemba, especially. Everything fell on him, and he lived up to it. It's just incredible.
Yeah, to your point, Bobby, he recognized that there's a lot of pressure on him to carry this team, but when you look at all the factors that were working against the Celtics, it's really good that he embraced that pressure and didn't shy away from it. Because sometimes he just kind of gets a little too comfortable and settles. And we see that in the form of lots of 3-pointers jacked up. Not tonight. He went hard to the paint, and it paid off for him and the Celtics. So easily the best game I think he's played.
Is this going to be a turning point? Does this mean anything?
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah,
we've done fool me once, fool me twice.
Is this it, guys? Is this the turning point?
Oh, did they flip the switch? We can't do that.
He played a great game. He played one of the greatest games we've seen.
Not just him, but them.
You can't say that game 63. You can't. You cannot.
Well, so the only reason I say that,
if they lose by 12 to the Blazers on Sunday, I don't think anyone's going to bat an eye.
Even if they win out, I'd be like, you know what? No. Okay.
You're right, because that last Blazers win was kind of a momentum one, too, in the big West Coast trip, and it didn't mean all that much. But they've had a few vicious comebacks this year that have fallen just short. In fact, you thought this one was just going to be like a 4-point Spurs win or something.
Those are easy.
Yeah,
the other thing is this.
They give it a chance.
When one team is up, the Celtics have had a couple games where they were up 28 and the other team came back. Those aren't comebacks. Those are you take your foot off the gas and the other team.
It's called the NBA.
The other team comes way closer than you wanted them to come, and the score looks more respectable. But those aren't real. This was real. This was real.
Let me say one thing,
because they started it early. You could see them chipping until they finally got there. It was just a tale of two halves. They just flipped it on them. Go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
It was, but here's the thing. We're gonna focus. Believe it or not, we're not just haters. We're focusing on a historic performance tonight, and it's a good night to be a Celtics fan and all that great stuff. But let's not forget that this team played atrocious for a large part of this game, and you needed 60 points in an overtime to come back and win. That's not going to happen in the play-in or the playoffs against a team that's going to be better than the Spurs most likely. Again, these are bad habits that this team's falling into. So that's why I'm not head over heels about this is a defining moment game. This was a defining moment game for Jayson Tatum. This wasn't a defining moment for the Celtics team. I still have a lot of concerns about this team.
I disagree with that, Jimmy, because I think that this is the kind of thing that could galvanize a team, especially because this window is so short. If we're 2 months away from the playoffs, a lot can happen, but whereas the finish line is way closer, I think you can get everyone sort of locked in to say, hey,
but they have to play better.
We made history last night, man. Okay,
no, Jayson Tatum
talked the talk the past 2
Tatum
weeks.
made history.
Let's walk the walk, And if you're Jayson Tatum, you should be leading that conversation, or you should be leading the charge and saying, hey, guys, we can do this. See, I told you, we just did it. let's do it again. I think this can help them for sure.
But my point is, you needed a historic performance to win this game. You can't go down. You can't play like that. You can't expect to play like that and get away with it.
You can't have a first quarter like that because you're not going to win it again. Right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So, that's why I'm not
things that broke right for them to win this game that you can't expect those to happen when you get down 32 points because it just doesn't work that way. I mean, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I would imagine it's a minuscule chance that teams that go down by 32 points actually come back and win, even in the NBA.
Hey, look at their record this year. We talked about that stat. I think it was 35 games they've gone down by double digits this year. So they've been getting behind all year, and their record overall isn't that great. So they haven't shown a great propensity to overcome these bad starts. They've been okay. They've kind of split the difference on these games 50-50, and they haven't been a reliable comeback team. That was my point there. They had so many games, Dallas, New Orleans, some of these matchups where they went on huge comebacks, pushed it to the final minutes, got down to some of these last possessions, and couldn't seal the deal. Tonight felt like the first time they finally, and it was the biggest of all, but they finally executed seamlessly throughout that second half. I mean, the Spurs never breathed it. Like they came close to getting some air a few times, kept it tied in the late stages there. Patty Mills hit that big three to force overtime, but the Celtics were just on them all second half. I mean, they tied the game with 7 minutes left in the fourth. This is basically a completed comeback within 15, 16 minutes in the second half. The way they did it so quickly just blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. No, it definitely happened extremely quickly, but they needed it
to
because they were down by so much.
Always does.
Just like that. Popovich is I don't know, Bob. What do we think?
I can't wait to hear
Popovich?
Just want to tell everybody real quick, Patriots drafted an edge defender, Ronnie Perkins, out of Oklahoma. If you want to know a little thing about him and football's your thing, we're live on our Patriots YouTube channel right now doing draft analysis.
Oh, is that right?
With Evan Lazar.
What up,
We're live everywhere right now.
Yeah, you can go over there, but you're dead to us if you do.
Yeah, go ahead, losers, traitors. No, but
yeah, go on over right
go
there.
in their comment section and tell them to fill them in on the game.
It's good for the company,
and tell them
Jimmy.
They missed.
That's
history.
true. Lazar is an animal, so he's always worth getting a peek inside his brain when it comes to football.
There's people who say they study the draft, then there's Evan Lazar. Okay.
Right.
And so
there's people who study Evan Lazar.
Right. And when literally any name can get called, any name pretty much in the
oh my Lord.
In 7 rounds, and Evan Lazar immediately, without checking notes, can talk about him for 5 straight minutes. Find me another person who can do that. There's not a lot out there.
Yeah, he's John, you went 2 years at JUCO, then
yeah. John, you gotta share the screen.
Look
at what we got here.
What do we got?
Ready? I just shared my screen here. You gotta pull it up.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's awesome. That's a little ode to Larry there.
That's Wilt.
That's Wilt.
100.
Didn't know.
Oh, right. Ode to Wilt. Right.
Yeah.
But this is a little Larry thing.
Larry,
no, man. Larry's photo had been with 2 Budweisers. That's not a joke. And then he probably had 22 more that night. Okay.
So what is a few before the game too?
And a case under his arm as he leaves.
Yeah.
The old guard.
Sherrod, you said this is top 5. Where do you put Devin Booker's performance, right? Because obviously it wasn't in a winning effort, and the way he went about
this is way better.
It's below. That 71 is below.
You can't put that
below,
top 5,
definitely, because it was fake.
It's not top 5. I never said it was top 5.
No, I know.
By the way, that pick is fake, right? The Tatum. I assume that's just a Twitter.
No, that's real.
Oh, he took that in the locker room.
Yeah.
Are you sure, Bobby? Because
Booker did the same thing. He took that same picture.
Okay, because Bobby's
been checked before.
Questionable track record.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
Bobby's
Jimmy says questionable. Jimmy says John says questionable track record.
No, this was sent out by the Celtics.
Don't tell me you got this on IG. You got this from IG.
Yeah. No, this is from the Celtics.
Got it from Reddit.
Made that,
you got it from Reddit.
This is from the Celtics. Give credit. Great posting team.
Bobby's like, fuck.
Okay. Celtics Twitter account posted. We said it's verified apparently. So, okay. That's fine.
I was about
to
say
this
something.
Picture, this one is not verified right here if you want to pull this one up.
Oh boy, what
Is
is
this
it?
what we're gonna do? Just picture pages
yeah.
the rest of the day?
It's picture day. Yay!
Is this the next step here?
Is this
Huh?
That's what
Cornet?
we're
This
doing
better not
today?
be a picture of Cornet.
Ready? Pull it up, John.
Hold on.
God, we get the boomer running the show over here. Trying
Oh,
to get
shut up.
How about that one?
Oh God.
That's the next
Okay.
step.
Okay, we're done with pictures. We're done with
All right,
pictures after that.
Bobby, you're done.
Yeah. You know what, Bobby? You blew it. We gave you a little leash and you took it
He's
too
literally he's given his computer its own feed, and now he's just posting stuff.
far. Yeah.
That's because he put that on his wallpaper, bro.
That was a horrible Photoshop, by the way. That wasn't even.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Now you got me thinking that the Tatum
That was
one's
lazy.
fake. Now I'm thinking the Tatum one's fake.
No,
But no, I know what I was talking about. This Tatum's performance way better than Booker's, and I was there for Booker's. I shouldn't say way better. It was pretty close because
it was better. It was better.
But Booker's was legit. It's just that it was fake, a fake 70, where Tatum's was a real 60.
One, he lost the game. Two, they were making a conscious effort to
Keep
basically
him
get him as many points as possible.
Right.
And it no. I mean,
I've never seen
And
that
then,
in my life.
Alvin Gentry was like jumping up and down, cheering. I'm like, yeah.
I don't think I ever
You guys
will see
lost.
that again.
You guys
That's
lost the game.
right. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. That was terrible.
It was awful to watch.
It was
Gerard,
embarrassing.
You guys remember
This one was a joy to watch.
It
This was
completely
history. It felt
sullied
like
the
it.
whole
You guys remember
thing.
the scrum? Before anyone even asks a question, he comes into the scrum and just goes, I would do it 10 times out of 10 again, guys. All right. It's like he knew.
But that was Earl Watson. He was
They
the coach.
knew what they
They
did.
fired his ass, I think, at the end of the season.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He was a horrible coach.
Yeah.
That was
Earl
awful.
That's right. Yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah.
The only thing that was awesome about that whole thing was the back and forth between him and Jay Crowder after the game, where Jay Crowder said, "You guys are mighty happy after losing," and then Devin's comeback was pretty good. You can't guard me.
He was right.
What's the thing? That was like,
He was right about that.
That's what I was trying to say
Tatum
about
picture's
this
real.
one.
No matter what, he
CSN
still got
got
70 on
tricked
you.
too.
Yeah.
It was so bad. It really was because
That's right. Watson got fired like that week.
It really was because it destroyed what would have been. It would have been a beautiful 60 something, and it was a terrible 70. It's so bad.
It's like he doesn't even know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he would have been better off the other way. Yeah.
They sullied the whole thing. The 70 was tainted because of that. It was like Ricky Davis's triple double by shooting on his own basket to get a rebound, right?
Well,
no, that's
Mills made this rock hard legit. Like this was
maybe if it was in
Phoenix, this was a 1-point game. Those free throws were so critical, and Brad was freaking out about them not calling the continuation because they were up by 1 point.
Right.
If Tatum missed a free throw,
that was a big deal.
Going to double overtime, like those free throws were critical. And I think at the end of this month,
free throw would have made it a 4-point game and sealed it. That's what the whole thing was about.
Right. Yep.
Well, no, they got it to 3, and then Rudy Gay shot to it at the buzzer there.
No, I'm saying if they called the continuation.
Yeah. That's why that was so important. So that was another reason it was just an awful call. We could be looking at double overtime after that if the Spurs got a quicker shot off, and then who knows how many
Tatum would have gotten a legit.
I couldn't
70.
believe the Spurs didn't even get a damn shot off at least. I mean, come on.
I can't believe the Celtics didn't.
Seconds.
I can't believe the Celtics didn't foul as they were friggin' dribbling all the way up the court either.
Tatum was going to be sprinting the foul to get 70.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That was something. All right. We said we'd talk a little bit about it, but let's give Nesmith some love there. And I guess the main question is,
we kind of did. We did already.
Fully sustainable, do you think?
Yeah, I think we're seeing he's a good shooter.
I don't think 16 is sustainable.
Yeah, I don't know if that offense.
I think he can do what he does out there because what he's given you is effort, and effort is sustainable.
Yeah,
effort is something that you can give. It's something that you can consciously choose to give night in, night out. And when you're a rookie and you haven't really had any legitimate practice or off season, the only thing you can really be counted on to give is effort, and that's what he's giving. And he's finding himself to be in the right place at the right time. We know he can shoot based on we were told he can shoot, and I believe that he can shoot. And eventually, he will get more opportunities.
He's 47% on his last 20 or so. He's getting there.
A really small sample size, Bobby.
Small sample size. He's not. They're not obviously drawing plays up for him, but he is hitting that shot more consistently than obviously he was to start, and he looks more comfortable taking it. So
the Jays still don't pass
definitely.
to him, really.
No, and honestly, that's okay. Everything should be going through Tatum and Brown.
It should, but they also, like
anyways.
I said, is you want the ball, you want it to go through them, but you want to also have them every once in a while give it back too. The one knock on today, I'll say, those guys played a shit ton of ISO ball all game long. It's just Tatum was unstoppable, so you don't want him to stop there. You were the hot hand, but Jaylen was doing it too in a very frustrating manner.
I was a little worried down the stretch that he was going to.
I was worried.
He took a couple ill-advised shots, and I was just like, whoa, like that was completely out of sync with what was going on. Like, this was in overtime. But
Brown kept trying to force it.
Brown was the one taking really bad shots.
Scal was saying it too. He's like, at the beginning of OT, he's like, guys, you're what are you doing here? You know, like you're resorting to bad shots here. Like, stay with the program. Like, take it.
This
keep
is what
going.
got you here. Right?
Yeah. But I think we forget that Jaylen has been on a ridiculous tear the last couple of games, and he was due to have a cracker. He was more than due, and to me, it always comes back to I don't get as consumed by how you play. For the most part, is what do you do when the game is on the line? Can you get it? I would much rather a guy go 1 for 7 and that one shot can help me with 10 seconds of play than a guy to go 6 for 7 and the one miss is the shot that we need at the very end. Jaylen, he did what he needed to do. He made the big shot. Yeah. And they needed that from him in that moment. And he, other than Tatum, he was the only guy I felt good about taking that shot. And back to Nesmith for a second. You know what he needs to do? Make open shots. Because when you play with Tatum and you play with Brown,
that's how you get the
ball.
You're
going to get the ball at some point and you're going to be open. Make and take those shots. Don't get outside your head and just do what got you to the NBA.
That's right.
I caught myself.
I thought you were gonna go.
It's Friday night. You can say it. You can say it. You can say it. You can slip it in there.
So I'm gonna slip in.
That's
one
a good
more
point, Sherrod.
I'm gonna slip in one more plug here, and let you guys know we're gonna take. We're gonna head out over to the locker room. Sherrod and I are gonna start. Yep, and it's going down. We're going to head over in a couple of minutes. The room is open. If we have someone who can put it in the chat for you guys and then pin it, jump in there now if you want. Get your place in line. Put in your speaker requests. I'm going to jump in there, and we're going to start chatting right away, just a couple minutes away. Other guys will head over. Joe Sway, Jimmy, Bobby, once he finishes up whatever he's doing from the garden here. How's the 9th floor? Any dangers?
No, I'm in a nice, secure spot here.
No rat.
No. Must be nice.
Yep.
Must be just Joe Sway.
Must be nice.
You got me worried, though, Joe Sway. When I start seeing shadows move and stuff, I get worried.
Well, how loud was it in there in the overtime? Like, I mean, I can't picture a 2000,
Oh, come on. I mean, they sent them in the halftime with the booze there, and the first shot Evan Fournier hit, they were right back up on their feet going crazy. The vitriol didn't last too long. And, it got pretty damn loud in here when he was throwing down those baseline dunks. But, again, it's 2,000 people. If there was the
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it still loud, or is it just kind of like, as loud as
it wasn't befitting of the moment. But those boos at half, those were impressive.
Yeah,
those were impressive.
That was good.
Well, Boston fans know how to boo.
Bobby said, "Well done, 2,000 fans."
Those people bought those tickets weeks ago, had seen all the games leading up to this, and were just ready to let that loose. They were booing throughout the first half.
Oh yeah, they
had a lot to boo about. The team was ass in the first half.
Well, you show up, you sit in your seat, you get to your seat, and they're already down 15. You're just pissed off for the rest of the game.
I wonder if some people left the game at 32. I bet a couple people did.
Scout mentioned it. Scout mentioned it. You know what?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Definitely happened because people they're thinking, we can just go to a bar somewhere else.
We're vaccinated. Yeah.
We have options.
Let's do that. Let's do the vaccinated thing.
Well, the thing is also now with the new TD Garden, they kind of give you a lot of places to go if you don't want to watch the game without actually leaving the game. So I would imagine maybe some people were maybe hanging around in like the
concourse area.
Yeah, concourse area. There's some bars and some little areas now that you can kind of hang out in. It's kind of almost like what they're doing at Fenway Park.
No, people were actually in their seats. That's still true for the people courtside, but they've actually been encouraging people to order. They'll have some people bring you down food and drinks for the most part. I still think there's some concessions, but you have that option. So I think a lot of people have been doing that. You can just order it on your phone, and So to begin that third quarter, pretty much everybody was in their seats. And it wasn't a huge deal tonight, but Evan Fournier got going a little bit in that third quarter to give them some.
All right, you guys can do the
shots.
You guys do the Fournier stuff. I'm heading out.
I'm not
Jimmy's
talking
gonna
about him
strike.
tonight.
Jimmy's protesting.
Jimmy,
well done.
Jimmy, just
He
like
showed some life.
Jimmy, just like last game, text me when you guys are wrapping it up. I'll shut down this room for you because Bobby's at the Garden. He can't do it tonight, so I will shut it down.
Yeah, except last time I didn't know. I was like, are we able to go? And then I think
You're
sent
trying to
us
give
a
the
message.
wink.
Yeah, so I'm a professional. Just say good night, everybody, and then I will press end. Okay.
Well, I mean, I just didn't know if you were.
cue.
I couldn't know if you got the message.
Just have faith in the process.
Yeah.
All right.
You're
Sherrod,
professional.
Sherrod, head on over. I'm gonna head over too. We already got 30+ people in there. Rest of you guys join us.
Gonna be a fun one.
We just hit the hour mark. Perfect timing. It should be fun. Guys, hang out here. Talk Evan Fournier as long as you want, and then join us.
10 minutes here. We're gonna do 10 minutes here, and then we'll bounce.
No for Fournier with that spark.
No, I mean I like it. It's not that I'm not knocking the guy, but he's not there yet.
He's not close, but
I know he'll get there.
I don't think he's worthy of talking about yet. I need to see a little bit more. I don't think
he finished 3 of 6, 8 points. Not terrible.
Yeah, and the fact that that's that's a good thing tells you how bad he's been. So yeah, he didn't go 0 for whatever. So in that sense, great. He's working his way back from COVID. I'm not going to put myself in his position. I can't feel what he feels and all that stuff. So he does get a little bit, a little benefit of the doubt there.
We will.
We know how long it took Tatum to come back from COVID, and now obviously it seems like he's. I'm not going to say fully recovered, but it does certainly look like that way on the court. I mean, it does feel like he's playing without any sort of issues like that we can see.
So who are you starting on Sunday if Kemba's out again? The latest on Kemba is that he's getting closer, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be quite there in time for Sunday, the way it sounded this morning. Shot around a little bit today, but he's not quite there, is what Brad said. So Fournier's been starting. They moved Rob back into the starting lineup, which was nice to see tonight. He had a solid game.
Yeah, let's talk about Rob for a minute. What was it that Rob said about his injury, Bobby, that you texted me about or texted us about?
So it was tough to tell. I listened to it about 7 times because he doesn't say much. It's very short, choppy, to the point. So I believe Corrales asked him if the knee injury he's dealing with was related to the hip that they were managing earlier in the year. And his exact answer was it's not related to the hip. I've dealt with tendonitis for a long time, which is what he was dealing with here. But it's not related to that either. Like the condition that we talked about that he had coming out of college, tendonitis that he dealt with in the past. He said
so that was fake news that you were spreading fake news then. Because you were saying
I couldn't tell because he said he's been dealing with it for a long time. So I don't know if that relates to it either. I also just don't believe him. It's the same exact thing. It's the inflammation behind the knee, the blood flow, and the occasional spurts of inflammation. It's like the exact definition of the condition there. So he hasn't dealt with it in a long time, which is certainly true. He hasn't missed any time with that condition there up until now with the Celtics. He says they got that figured out. But it sounds awfully familiar to me. If you look up that condition, it's inflammation behind the knee is the prime symptom.
Yeah. Okay. Joe Sway,
it's not worrisome though, which is a good thing. They've managed it really well.
Yeah,
you getting any questions in the chat?
No, I mean, I just think that he's so important for this team, so you got to be careful with that. And if it means him taking a game off here and there or limiting his minutes, but I don't see them really doing that, right? I mean, outside of matchup purposes, or if he's just not in the flow of things. But yeah, I mean, I thought in a game like this too, the Celtics managed without him, so I was sort of happy not to see him down there or in there down the stretch because I don't know, it seemed like a really physical game and just kind of seemed like they had found their flow without him. But he's still really important for this team because of what he does on both ends, but especially on offense because just him getting those touches in the paint, I think is so important. Obviously, those putbacks go a long way for these guys. Those second chance opportunities do as well. So, hopefully that's not something that the Celtics have to worry about long term if they're really going to go into the playoffs and try to really make a run at this thing, whether it's that second round or potentially even the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on how the whole bracket breaks down. But this was such a big win, guys, because, I mean, it was, let's face it, hypothetically, the play-in tournament, I mean, we would be saying tonight that it's
tied
pretty
for
much
fifth
set in
now.
stone, right? It's set in stone at this point. So they're really keeping themselves afloat here. And if you look at the schedule, I mean, San Antonio is supposed to be one of the tougher ones. So, I mean, you get back-to-back wins here, you could be in really good shape. And I know that's a big if, but I mean, this momentum, this is legit for this team for the moment. And when you consider everything that this team has been through throughout the year.
Yeah, just
It's
looking at the
still
standings, you got
It's all about that Heat series.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Heat are half game behind right now. They've played one less game and they have one less win. Wizards keep winning, Bulls keep losing, or Bulls lost, Wizards won. Wizards have now, I mean, they're in that 10 spot kind of where they get a few games up on the Bulls now. They might hold on to that 10th spot, and that's a team that nobody saw making this tournament. That's for sure. I mean, a month ago even. So it's looking like Pacers and Wizards might. I mean, anything could happen. There's still plenty of games up, but those two teams right now are holding on to those. They're on the outside looking in, but they're in the play-in as we speak. And then you've got the Hornets, the Heat, and then the Celtics tied with the Hawks. So
it's too close. It's just way too close, and
it's way too close. But
especially a devastating loss like this. I mean, maybe let's say they don't lose by 32, but just the fact that you were down 32, trying to play catch up, and that offensive firepower from San Antonio. I mean, that's as Scal said. He must have said it like 3 or 4 times. It's demoralizing. It really is, especially when they were playing. There were at least 3. It felt like at least 3 consecutive defensive possessions where they did everything that they were supposed to, and whether it was a tip back for the offensive rebound that the Spurs gathered that led to a quick 3, or just a quick putback, like those plays, like again the mental strength of a rookie like Nesmith. I mean, it's tough to go through that and continue to stay in the game and not be afraid to take those shots or those crucial layups. I mean, he even bummed one of those layups, So yeah, I think this is a huge game, obviously historically for Jayson Tatum. We'll never forget this night. But I think Aaron Nesmith, I mean, there's a lot to take away for him for individual goals and for where he wants to be and for what he can really do to help this team.
It's glass half full, glass half empty when you look at these standings, Jimmy, because they're a game and a half back of the Knicks at that 4 spot.
Yep.
And they're 2 games back or 2 games ahead of the Hornets in that road position for the play-in. So it could go either way. I did hear, I believe it was Grandy mentioned New York's closing schedule to finish this year. They're about to embark on a 6-game road trip.
Yeah.
And then they got the Spurs, Hornets, and Celtics to close it out. That Celtics game to finish it out in Madison Square is going to probably be pretty important. Celtics, I don't think it's as easy as people have made it out to be. The Blazers are obviously tough. They're going to see the Heat twice. The Bulls aren't an easy pass. Like this is kind of a tough schedule. And the Timberwolves are playing out of their mind right now. We know what the kind of run they gave the Celtics last time. So these 8 games aren't going to be easy by any means. And I don't know if people love the play-in or hate it.
There's no such thing as an easy game for the Celtics.
Well, yeah, because
I think we all know that.
Yeah.
Whether it's a 500 team or below 500, they have a shot. Every team has a shot against the Celtics. So.
Right. That's the thing.
Feels like the Magic and Cavs are tanking, though. So you do get those ones that are probably just going to be walkthroughs. But we'll see. It's going to be a fun final 8 games. I'll give the play-in tournament that. All these teams are gunning for it right now. There are only 3 teams in the East that are out of it.
You know who else is tanking? The Thunder.
I was going to say that, too.
They actually benched Dort, during the playoffs.
That's true.
Yeah, one of the biggest steals.
They benched Dort?
And they freaking benched him.
Tonight?
Oh.
But that's another story. Yeah.
Oh,
fantasy basketball.
What are we doing? Jeez. Like, if you win with Dort out there, then so be it. Like,
hey, you should get your eyes on the Horford.
From a very frustrated fantasy basketball team owner. That's just
you saw the way they did Al.
Basketball team.
Yeah, but Al's different. Like, I mean, Al's gonna help you put you over the top. But like, okay, Dort's killing it, but you want a young guy to get his reps in. Let him get his licks in. Like, don't make it. Like he's the one guy everyone could identify against the Celtics.
Sam Presti got the brass together after that Celtics game and said, "We can't take any more chances."
What I tell you? What I tell you? Even the Celtics bench Dort now. That's what he said.
Bobby, why don't we use this last few minutes? Why don't you plug your interview with the Cornet the Cornette interview.
Yeah, that's good. Cause
give us some teasing. Give us some teasers there.
oh, it was
I listened
awesome.
to. I already watched it, so I mean, you don't have to sell me
You
on it.
guys
But,
sell it to me.
but there's
I
a lot of
thought
people watching.
So we interviewed Nicole Cornette on Dome Theory here on CLNS yesterday afternoon. Bunch of people tuned in. Bunch of people watched it. It was a great conversation. She was awesome on the microphone. I just pretty much
She was
told
good.
Luke's whole life story, the family's story, talked about his singing, him barely making a camp with Miles Turner in Texas to get some looks from some colleges like Purdue and Vanderbilt. He was really going to be going to college on those SATs, like with great math scores and all that stuff. He would have gotten in Vanderbilt outright without the basketball, but he grew to 7'2" late in high school. Had a fill into his body. Luckily, he was a wing in high school, so that's where you see that shooting come from. He was more of a shooter and stuff early in his young high school career, and it was just a cool story. His sister played at UCLA, Nicole, Oklahoma as well. His brother played at a smaller school in Arkansas, and their dad was in the NBA. And I thought this was awesome, Josue. He roomed with Tito Horford.
I heard that part.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was because I mentioned Anna. I was like, you could be the next. I was like, you could be the next Anna Horford. You know, his sister with a show here on the network.
She was pretty good on the mic, I will say.
Yeah, and she said, "Oh, my dad roomed with Tito. We know the Horfords well. They grew up not too far from Marcus Smart, so there were some fun connections there. It was just a great conversation."
Yeah, she
it's pretty
said
cool too because Milwaukee, like he's still people recognize him. He's still regarded as one of the fan favorites from those years, and yeah, I thought that was
Horford?
pretty cool. Yeah, Horford, and then I thought it was pretty cool that Cornette. Obviously he said that she's pretty sure that they were roommates, and then his story to go overseas and how his son is different. I mean, I don't want to tell the whole thing. I feel like Bobby already did. I'll stop right there. But guys, seriously, tune in because I thought it was pretty cool the difference between his father, who obviously played professionally, and the Luke Cornette that's on the Celtics. And it's I think it's going to bode well for the Celtics. I'll let you guys check it out, and you can see what I mean. But two very different personalities and their approaches. And, of course, one learned a lot from the other. So I think it's pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool story. And for that kind of guy to be on the Celtics, I think obviously fans are already embracing him with open arms.
I'll say this. He is. I don't know what you felt, Bob, but I could sense some sparks through the screen.
Some chemistry.
Yeah. I thought I felt some chemistry between you two.
We can make her a co-host.
I mean, that's just that's natural. You can't. That's not game right there.
It just felt like you guys had known each other for years.
Yeah, it was good. It's good stuff.
No, it was great. I mean, I like when people give in-depth answers and get into stuff and draw it. Like, I didn't even have to ask tough questions. Like, you just kind of jump from thing to thing.
You guys like kind of finished each other's sentences?
Maybe.
Was he supposed to say sentences? Right?
He was supposed to fill that in. Yeah, he was supposed to. But see, like if it was her who said that, he would have filled it right in because that's kind of how it was.
Hey, we might be able to, if Luke's playing into the playoffs, if Luke gets some opportunity in the playoffs here, we might have to have her jump on. And that's what she said. She texted me after and was like, if you guys ever need someone to jump in on a podcast last minute, let me know.
Whoa. Wait. You said she texted you after?
I thought you were gonna say, wait, you can just be inviting people onto the show now.
Wow, so you guys are already texting, huh?
If we need a fill-in here, if Jimmy needs a rest night, we'll slide her in for Jimmy here.
Oh yeah.
Yo, great week for Bobby.
Big week for Bob.
Never seen someone drop this much, right? Live, I'm assuming, right?
Bob's throwing a good night texting.
I was at the Isaiah game as a fan. The 53 game. What was that? Game 5.
How about that comeback? He's like, "Who is this?"
Wait, which one?
I was at the playoff one.
The playoff one.
I think you were there too for that, right? I met up with you at halftime or something.
Yeah.
But that was incredible.
Right. You were at that
obviously game. A big stage. Yeah. That one was special too because my dad was sick at the time, and I was just kind of going to get my mind off that. And obviously Isaiah was going through what he was going through at that time, so that one's always going to have the special place in my heart. But again, tonight you could feel that something special was happening, and we kept talking about it in there. We were like, oh, he could hit 60, but it really didn't develop until like 30 seconds were left in that overtime, and things just went the right way there with the free throws. And credit to him, he's been absolute money at the free throw line. 15 of 17, 90% this month. you got to get it done there, and he's doing it. So this was a special night. You could just feel it. That's all I can say. Like it was special in here. And again, you'll never see something like the boos at halftime and how that first half went, and then go from a 36-year-old record being matched. It was just that's the season, right? Like just the highest of highs and the lowest of lows for this group. Who knows where it's going to go?
And before the season even started, like I don't know if we all agreed on it, but I think we all knew that there's another level to Tatum. And we haven't seen it all season long. I mean, we've seen spurts of it. Obviously, COVID had a lot to do with that. And this is it. And the timing couldn't have been any better. I mean, for the Celtics team, hate it or love it, this is going to push this team. This gives the Celtics a legitimate shot to get out of the first round, to just see what happens, right? Let's just leave it at
that.
Guys, I'm not gonna go on a limb and say that this is gonna put them neck and neck with the top-notch teams like Philly or Brooklyn, but let's just see what happens. Let's see how far this next level Tatum can get this team, and of course, let's see what Kemba looks like when eventually he comes back from his rest / healing. I don't know what to call it. I mean, I'm hoping that's what the majority of it. That's what it is. It's more about rest than it is about necessarily he's really banged up.
I'm just looking at some. We'll close it up in a minute, but I want to read some. I'm just gonna read some tweets from Steve. I just searched Stevens on Twitter because I wanted to see what he said after the game. And
what did he say after the game?
I'll read a few tweets. I mean, I'm reading them for the first time. So
Jimmy, what did he say?
Brad Stevens, to be candid, this must be about the start. To be candid, I was pissed. I was disappointed. We can't be like that. We can't play like that. The starts are ridiculous. That was ridiculous how we started tonight. If we want to be any good, we have to change that. So that's.
Oh my God, it really was. No one scored in the first quarter but Tatum. It was unreal.
Right. It's just a crazy one. Here's one. He's on the way over here on the play hard scale. Talking about Aaron's Nesmith while motioning far away. Oh, he's over here on the play hard scale, I guess, saying that he's at the he plays extremely hard.
100 out of 100.
He plays harder than most, so it's hard to take him off the floor. And that's what we said. I mean, you want to stay on the floor, you got to play hard. I like it. Absolutely. Brad Stevens, I'm proud of our resiliency, our resolve, our togetherness, our willingness to put aside what happened in the first half. We showed that we weren't going to go away. Brad Stevens on Tatum. Tatum was amazing, as you know, and we needed every one of those 60 points. And then one other one, this is a summary of his quote by Jared Weiss. Stevens says he told the team at halftime that the Garden crowd never boos unless they deserve it, and that he appreciates the fans who stuck around because he would have left. He even said his daughter left because she had better things to do than watch them suck.
Wow, that's dope.
So
okay, Brad, you didn't have to share that. I like it.
I am going to. Oh, right. I'm going to wrap it up right this second because John texted us 100 times, I guess, and I just looked at my phone and saw that. So we're done here.
This is stuff every night. Oh, guys, hang out, chat here.
Dude, we're shooting the shit for a few minutes.
My favorite is, guys, let's make it quick. 5 minutes.
Yeah, it must be mayhem over there. 12. So we're gonna head out. We got a game Sunday night, I think. Is it? Yeah, it's Sunday night against the Blazers.
Afternoon. That's key. Sunday
night game, not afternoon. So 7:30. We'll see you guys after the game.